Ashley Little as she welcomes her guest to the table.
Welcome to Creating Your Seat at the Table. I am your host, Ashley Little. A little bit about myself: corporate professional by day, entrepreneur by night, four-time best-selling author, owner and creator of Creative Broadcasting, CEO and founder of Ashley Little Enterprises, LLC, and co-founder and owner of Talk Radio and TV Network, LLP. Tonight we have an amazing special VIP guest by the name of Cordelia Gaffar. A little bit about her. Cordelia is a transformational business consultant, inspiring women to be influencers and positively impact the world so that they can be fulfilled. Specifically, she helps female entrepreneurs make energy-rich choices surrounding their mission and purpose so that they can make a positive impact and be fulfilled. She also serves as a social media and branding chairperson for All Ladies League on the Entrepreneur Committee for the USA and as a member of the same committee for UK WEF. Award-winning author and speaker, certified in sports nutrition, hostess of the Replenish Me Show, founder of Work Out Around My Day, and mom of 6. Her clients are able to align their true self and make an impact by streamlining processes, unravel the overwhelm, and be effective leaders and communicators in their field of expertise. She offers one-on-one group coaching programs and self-paced online programs. Welcome to the table, the amazing Cordelia.
Thank you so much, Ashley. You know, I always sound so much more interesting when other people are reading my bio.
You are, and you have an amazing bio, and I know our listeners have heard me read it. So would you please tell us more about your entrepreneur journey?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I wanted to just help women, and I didn't really intend to be a quote-unquote entrepreneur. I was just an author, right? So my my first book was simply for the purpose of helping moms because, you know, I homeschool my kids, and I just saw the overwhelm at that point, I think it had only been a decade that I'd been homeschooling. I just saw the overwhelm that moms went through with homeschooling their kids, or even if they didn't homeschool their kids. And I wanted them to know that, you know, motherhood doesn't have to swallow you whole. But as, you know, we started exploring what it looks like to take care of ourselves, I found out that some of these women were like, oh, you know what? I actually, you know, make these amazing sweaters that should be in, like, you know, Lord and Taylor, right? And I encourage them to become business owners and really hone that skill because that would be something just for them. And that's, you know, really where it began. And one of these workshops, someone asked me, do you coach people? And I said, yes.
I love it. And, you know, you consistently do this. You know, I consistently follow you, and we're good partners. So this is what Cordelia does. She is definitely inspiring women all over the world, which leads me to it being your passion, right? You're passionate about inspiring women and, you know, inspiring women influencers to be influencers and positively impact the world so that they can be more fulfilled. So tell us more about your passion on inspiring female entrepreneurs and influencers throughout the world.
You know, there's nothing like seeing a woman come back to life, you know, and realize that, you know what, actually I'm really talented at, you know, investment banking, or I'm really talented in, you know, some kind of business that she thought about, but she just kind of left it because she had a good job, you know? And when they start working on that, and, you know, it makes life worth living for me to see that in somebody else, you know? And there's usually like something super small that's holding them back, you know? It could be that, well, you know, don't you need a website for that, you know? And it's, you know, the best way to market your business is to meet people, you know. So, in fact, the people I know that make the most money, they don't have a website for the first 2-3 years of their business, and they're wildly successful. So, yeah.
Yes, and I like that you said that because I think some people think they have to have it all together, right? We have to have pictures, we got to have
all
this,
the
got to
ducks
have
in a
that.
row.
And yes, and most people, most successful millionaires and billionaires did not have a website, did not have all of that. Like you said, it was all about connecting, collaborating, and helping, serving to get to the next level.
Yep.
So what are some strategies, Cordelia, that you would give to listeners who are lacking self-care? Because I know you're very big on self-care and making sure that you're empowering women to make sure they take care of themselves inside and out. So tell us more about that. What are some strategies you would give to that listener who is lacking self-care?
Yeah, self-care is as basic as taking it slow in the morning. Even if you're running late, the thing of it is, the time is already passed. So it's better to move into your day with a pause for the cause of self. So, in fact, I have to say when I'm running late, that's when I definitely stop and I breathe deeply. And then I just really make an intention on what it is how I want to feel that day. So the number one thing I would recommend is after, just taking a minute to really breathe and feel into your body, make an intention on how do you really want to feel today? Do you want to feel stressed out? No, right? And, it could be something simple as just, you don't have to have any kind of special workout routine, but actually taking time to stretch your body just limb by limb. And then after that, this is something that, it's going to sound a little bit funny, but I always encourage people to go into the mirror before washing your face or anything and look yourself in the eye and say, I love you, you're amazing, and then smile with the crust and everything on your face. Because it's only, you have to pour into you in the most basic ways, and speaking life into yourself and hugging yourself and taking a minute to breathe, and then, put into your body, right? So I really feel that we should honor whatever our body type is. If you're not a breakfast eater, at least have some warm water first thing in the morning to get things going. But your body, has been empty for a long time, so nourishing it with something wholesome first thing in the morning. And
I love it.
Yeah, so those are like the super duper basics, and just throughout the day, taking a minute to turn off the lights in your office, right? And turn off your computer and stop exposing yourself to stuff, that you don't have to. And just make sure that people understand this is my 5 minutes to shut it down. So, next best thing to a power nap.
Yes, I love that. And with your clients, Cordelia, have you found that some of them have been lacking a lot of self-care, that some of the, issues that you have when trying to help them, build their life back or, get back on track, has that been some of the issues?
We don't recognize what our issues are until it gets out of control. And, we can say something like, I'm not taking care of myself, but what does that really mean? It could be what you're eating. It could be that you're not sleeping, which is most common, that's the most common self-care that's overlooked in the people I work with, is they don't have a sleep routine. So that actually is a bigger issue, because when we're not sleeping right, that throws off your metabolism, it changes the way you think, it changes your food choices. Even if you're someone who, you actually don't buy junk food, but for some reason you'll find junk food in your hand, and it's just based on, your sleeping routine or lack of. So yeah, this is quite common.
Okay. Awesome. Because I know sometimes we are so busy, especially with entrepreneurs and, especially when you're doing both corporate America and being entrepreneurs, sometimes balance is hard to have too, getting that balance and getting that self-care and making time to do it. So what is some advice you would give to listeners who are struggling to find balance? Because that can be hard for a lot of people, right? To really narrow that down to have that balance, especially when you're doing both, when you're an entrepreneur and you're still in corporate America.
Yeah, and I know, scheduling is a thing, but this is what I usually recommend is time blocking and theme days, right? So have certain days of the week where you just only do one type of thing. So let's say you don't have, a marketing team and you have to create your graphics and your copy. Pick a day and set aside time, and that's what you're going to do that day, and that's all you're going to do that day. That way, that whatever, let's say someone has a full-time job and they only have like 2-3 hours a day they can work on their business. So those 2 or 3 hours, that's what you're going to dedicate it to. And I know it sounds unreasonable and hard because we can do it all and we're going to multitask.
Yes.
But, it's the turtle that won the race, right? It wasn't the hare. It's not as fast. It's the slower you move, the more you get done. So that is like my number one rule, and that will get you to sleep at night because you did what you're supposed. And once you get into the routine of that, right, and then you have just the one day that you're going to deal with all things related to administrative stuff or money, right? You have the one day for follow-up. You have the one day for, blog writing articles or, I have Thursdays that I use to connect with people, right? Just have one day just for, when you're working with clients. And that also makes you appear harder to to connect with, right? So it's like it seems like you're more in demand if there's only. Set up your calendar like that. So when people go to your calendar to make appointments, they can't just willy-nilly, grab you on a Tuesday, for a call or whatever. It's just like Thursdays are collaboration calls, Fridays are follow-up calls and this kind of thing. Yeah.
I love it. Because that's a big thing, with people is having that balance. And I know that you focus on helping women find their niche, right? Making sure that they found, deliver their message and help them prepare it and make sure that it's that they know what they're selling and their product and what their mission is about. So tell us more. What are some strategies you would give to entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs who are struggling to find their niche?
Actually, that isn't really something that I focus on. I don't really help them to find their niche. It's usually like once they have figured out what it is that they want to do, I kind of guide them to simplify it. So an example of that, there were 2 corporate execs that I've helped recently, and they knew that they wanted to specifically help women with their financial struggles, like how to organize their finances. And their issue was trying to get the women to attend events. And, so everything surrounding creating an event, it's like they had so many limiting beliefs around it. And so I helped them to just simplify, it's really simple. If this is what you want to talk about, what connections do you already have in the community? Well, it turns out that one was already doing like volunteer classes at a community center, and the other one was doing it at a church, right? So, and those were quite big communities. So it was like, well, the next time you go there, just, let them know that this is what you're going to be doing because they already know, like, and trust you, right? And, just tell them to bring somebody. But the barriers that they had created were, well, we need a logo. Well, I need flyers. Well, And even down to like the venue, right? And it's like, if you already have relationships, just look. We usually have access to more than we think we do. It's just a matter of allowing ourselves to see it. So I guess to answer your question, mine isn't so much on helping them with the niche as it is to help them pull back the layers for the mindset surrounding what their gift is.
I love that.
Make it happen. Yeah.
I love that because, pretty much when they come to you, like you say, they've already pretty much know their niche, and you just helping them execute it. Because a lot of people have a lot of great ideas, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes people just can't execute. And,
yeah.
If you can't execute it, then it's like, it's not going to happen, pretty much.
Ever.
Yes. So tell us more about your position as a social media and branding chairperson for All Ladies League and how we can get involved and support All Ladies League.
All Ladies League is something that I've kind of been aware of for a couple of years, but I didn't really pay attention. So I met Cheryl Collins probably like 3 or 4 years ago, and on social media. We've actually never met face-to-face. And she went to India for All Ladies League, which is one of the largest global organizations, non-profit organizations that encourages sisterhood circles around the world. And so she went there to speak. And when she came back, she decided to start a chapter here in the United States because, believe it or not, even though they're all over Asia and Europe, there wasn't a chapter in the United States. So she's mostly based in Dallas, so that's where she started the chapter. And I guess it was the beginning of this year that, she was putting together her committee and started working towards creating an event called We Can Have It All in Dallas, which will be happening September 27th and 28th. And so in that process, she was like, you know what? We need someone to help us out with our social media and branding. And like I said, we had met on social media. I don't even know if you remember Periscope. I guess people still use it.
Yeah, Periscope.
On Periscope. And so she had just seen where I had been, where I'd come from back in those days to now. And so we were talking, and she just asked me, if I would come on board as the chairperson, and I said, sure. So I'm super excited about that. We've got a great roster of speakers. And like I said, so All Ladies League is the sister organization to WEF, which is Women's Economic Forum. The Women's Economic Forum is actually more focused specifically on creating wealth for women around the world. And so theirs is more business-based and more business-focused. It just so happens that we're the entrepreneurship chapter, so our event is going to be a nice blend of business development and personal development topics. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And how can people get involved with All Ladies League?
So the actual website is all.in.org, I believe. And I can give you the actual link, but to find more about all. For the U.S. chapter specifically, there's another link for that, and it's a lot longer than that. So it's like /USA/Dallas or something like this. So I'll have to give you the link for that. But to attend the event, which will be a lot easier, and there is a link to all there, is just bit.ly/all Dallas, ALL, and then the city Dallas.
So please support this amazing organization. Cordelia is doing some great things with them. So for our listeners that are out there, definitely get involved, especially if you're in the Dallas, Texas area. And Cordelia, tell us more about your Replenish Me podcast and how we can support, listen, and get involved.
I started the Replenish Me podcast 2 years ago, and And it was just an opportunity. It was actually an opportunity mostly for me to have conversations with other personal development experts. And I've interviewed people all the way from like personal trainers to intimacy coaches, and I believe you're going to be on there soon. So it's like I have these great conversations with amazing people. Just so like I had a conversation recently. Last week I had Johnny Cooper on talking about I hate marketing, right? And that's one of the things that entrepreneurs struggle with. So I taught, it's again a blend of business development and personal development, because it's all related, right? Because we are our brand, and as we develop, then our business develops. So, but I digress. So Replenish Me has been going strong for 2 years, and now I'm on the Life Coach Radio Network. So on iTunes, if you go to Life Coach Radio Network, you search on Replenish Me, you can find me, or you can just simply go to my website, which is CordeliaGaffar.com, and there's a link to my podcast there.
I love it. So definitely go follow Cordelia's podcast. She's doing some amazing things with it. How can what are some different platforms that you have your podcast on, Cordelia, that they can go listen? Is it on Apple or any of those platforms as well?
So I don't know all the different platforms that it loads up on, because I have an iPhone, so I just do iTunes. But okay. I know that it's definitely on Blog Talk Radio, and like, yeah, I would have to really look. I should really know that, but I just always say just go to iTunes.
And how can people be a guest, though? How can they be a guest as well? What can they do? What do they need to do? Reach out to you?
Yeah, that would just be the best way, is just to reach out to me directly. I think if you go to my website, there is a place in the podcast section, if you'd like to be a guest, that you can click on. And on my calendar, it's, just more specific time for the Replenish Me show, which is 7 p.m. Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesdays. Yeah.
Awesome. So you are the founder of Work Out Around My Day. So tell us more about your amazing company.
Yes. So it all began with a book, remember? So the book is called Work Out Around My Day, and all my books are on my website also, which is CordeliaGaffar.com. So Work Out Around My Day, the only health guide that moms need, is, really, like I said, where I just talk about how to replenish yourself. Interestingly enough, right, the program that I help women with is called Replenish Me, and if you go to my, I actually have a separate website for Workout Around My Day, which is workoutaroundmyday.com, and it talks about replenishing yourself, and it's a 12-step program where you just start out from building a foundation of getting rid of all the stuff that does not serve you, like doing a brain dump of it, and just erasing it. And like literally, if you wrote a list on a chalkboard and then you erased it, once you erase that, whatever you wrote, it's gone, and you can't ever do those things again or allow those things in your life. And then we gradually will build a roadmap, and over time, so we build the foundation in the first 4 weeks, and over time we incorporate elements of self-compassion first and foremost, and then we roll in the self-forgiveness, and finally self-belief. So as you know, like it takes 21 days to build a new habit. And so what I've noticed in working with people is that at that 4-week mark, every time it's just like this whole woe is me, I can't do this, self-doubt thing going in. And so that's why, okay, so new layer that we're adding to this, you can do it. You've created a roadmap, and we're going to do this with lots of love and self-compassion. And we're not going to shame and guilt ourselves. We're going to do a lot of self-forgiveness. and we're going to stand firm in every single thing that we've been creating over these past 10 weeks with self-belief. So, the workout around my day is a play on words, obviously, right? Because as you heard when you asked me questions earlier about self-care, I was talking about eating, I was talking about drinking, I was talking about moving your body. I do encourage all forms of exercise, mostly dancing and sleep. And these are the things that make the body work so that you can be powerful and make energy-rich choices throughout the day.
I love it. I love it. So definitely follow Cordelia and get involved and work out around my day. This is an amazing company. I'm loving the 12-step program. So what are some things that you have in store for Workout Around My Day over the next couple months, Cordelia? Do you have any big other programs that you're getting ready to launch within that?
Yeah, Replenish Me is actually launching the last week of this month, last week of August. So again, if anyone interested in finding out more about that can make an appointment with me by going to either website, or you can go to my bit.ly link for that, which is bit.ly Body Soul Shift Session. But like I said, either website, you can go to the Workout Around My Day website or the Cordelia Gaffar website. In the Replenish Me section, there's a place there where you can click on the link and find out more.
Amazing. So please follow and support her. Now, Cordelia, I asked all of my guests this question, right? And I know you've already built your table and you're continuing to build your own table. But how did you create your seat at the table?
I love that question. Just by continuing to say yes.
Yes.
From that from the first yes of do you coach people, I actually, to be honest, I had to go and find out what coaching was. I was like, I don't know what that means. But I didn't tell them that. I just smiled and said yes, and got their information, and and just did it. So yeah.
Yes, and I think more people need to understand that. Like you just saying yes, and you're shooting your shot. I call it shooting your shot and not being afraid of rejection, right? So anything
That's
you want in life, you have to go do it. You can't wait on anybody else to give it to you. So I think that people are sometimes scared of that, but that's the most important part of the process. So, yes, so I love that. So we all have, pain, and it's part of the process, but let's get into the next level, right? And sometimes people don't like being uncomfortable, but it's necessary. So what did failure teach you on your journey?
I would have to say the number one learning I've had is to be open, listen closely, be open to finding out that you don't know what you don't know until you know it, and keep learning. And whenever it looks like things are not going your way, they're going the right way. No matter, it's just a matter of reframing your perspective and seeing everything that you're doing as practice for the next level.
I love it. Because that's so important. That's so important. It's practice for the next level, right? It's not failure. It's practice for the next level. Seeing it as practice for the next level. So what did success teach you?
Success, is, I believe it's a state of being. Kind of like people say happiness is a state of being. If when I make that intention in the morning, I achieve that, I'm successful. And standing on that as my foundation every day, it just teaches me to keep firm in my belief and everything that that supports me in that, From a spiritual standpoint, I have to, before I even make my intention, I go ahead and I I do my pre-dawn prayers and all those things, and just open myself to whatever it is that God has in store for me, and know that, as long as my intention is pure, and I know that nothing comes from me, right? Everything comes from God. Then I'll always be successful.
Yes, I like that. And it's always good to have God a part of our business plan, right? He should be first in our business plan, and everything else will fall into place. So would you please tell our listeners what they can expect from you the rest of 2019? We're in quarter 3 right now, Cordelia, and I know you've been knocking it out quarter 1 and quarter 2. So what can we expect from you the rest of 2019?
All right, so I'm wrapping up the third quarter with, like I said, launching Replenish Me, which I'm really excited with. I have a small group of women. I try and keep it to about 4 or 5 women. So there are 2 more spots for that one. And then going into the quarter ends in September, right? We've got Success Women's Conference, where I'll be speaking, and then my own conference, which is in Dallas. And going into the fourth quarter, this is where the exciting stuff is. I'm going to go to the UK and collect my Global Powerhouse Magazine Leadership Award. And yes, right. And then in November, I'm going to go to another event where I've been nominated Podcaster of the Year and collect that award.
I love it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you have some amazing things, Cordelia. So I'm super excited to see all the great things that God is going to continue to do. And I know I'll be seeing you soon at some other events that we're in together. So I can't wait to continue to work with you on some amazing projects that we both have coming up. So I would like to thank you for coming to the table today to share your wisdom and knowledge with our listeners, and I can't wait to invite you back.
Thank you, Ashley, for having me here. And can I share one more thing? I don't even know how, when you asked me earlier, this didn't even come to mind. So many exciting things have been happening this week. I'm in a book called America's Leading Ladies with Oprah Winfrey. And so I got my paperback books today, because it's already, it was released in May as an ebook on Amazon, but now I have the actual book in my hand. It's a beautiful color book, so yeah.
Congratulations! So everybody can go to Amazon and purchase the book, or can they get them from you?
They can get them on my website. Yeah, they can get them from me directly. And the beautiful thing about getting them from me is I'll sign it.
Yes, signed copies, and being in the book with Oprah Winfrey, that's an amazing accomplishment by itself.
It is.
So super congratulations on all of your success. And will you please tell our listeners how they can follow you on all social media platforms?
I am on Instagram and Facebook, and I have a YouTube channel and LinkedIn under my name, which is Cordelia Gaffar. On Facebook, I also have the Replenish Me Facebook page, and you can actually go there for a free training. So I'm so easy to find. Just put in Cordelia Gaffar. It's Gaffar, because the ER will throw people off. It's AR. And, that's where you can find me.